Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, honorable city council members, to our treasurer, to our chief of staff in the stead of Mayor McCrate, to our administrative staff in the audience, to our audience viewing via our broadcast channel and YouTube Live. Welcome to the City of Romulus City Council regular meeting. Today is Monday, January 10th, 2022. Members of the public wishing to participate in this meeting may do so under the public comment portion of the agenda. Please fill out the request to speak public comment card located on the table in the back of the chambers and hand it to me, the deputy clerk. Additionally, members of the public who are viewing tonight's meeting via our broadcast channel or YouTube Live can submit their comments to publiccomment@romulusgov.com. And at this time, we will have roll call. Councilwoman Abdo.
She called, excused.
So noted. Councilman Barden.
I'm sorry.
Councilman Barden.
Oh, here.
Thank you. Councilwoman Roscoe.
Here.
Councilwoman Talley.
She called in, she's excused.
So noted. Councilman Wadsworth.
Here.
Councilwoman Webb.
I heard from her today. She's ill.
Thank you very much. The record will reflect not present. And Councilwoman Williams.
Here.
Mr. Chair, there is a quorum for tonight's meeting.
Thank you.
Tonight's meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda. Number 2, minutes. Number 3, petitioner. Number 4, chairperson's report. 5, mayor's report. 6, clerk's report. 7, treasurer's report. 8, public comment. 9, unfinished business. 10, new business. 11, warrant. 12, communication. And number 13 is adjournment. And a motion will be in order to accept tonight's meeting agenda as presented.
So moved to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Williams for approval of the agenda as presented. Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, City Council. Agenda item 2A for approval are the minutes from the regular meeting held on January the 4th, 2022 at 7:30 p.m.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to move that we approve the council meeting from January 4th of 2022.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe for approval of the minutes from the regular meeting held on January the 4th, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, City Council, and as noted on the agenda, there were no special meetings held on January 4th, 2022. There are no petitioners on tonight's meeting, which brings us to number 4, the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Deputy Clerk. At 6 p.m., we had a study session to discuss the audit presentation. At this time, the chair is, I'm going to recognize Councilman Wadsworth.
Thank you, Mr. Barden. I would like a memorial resolution for Richard Uranium. If somebody will support it, I'd like to
Support.
expand on it. Richard, this past Saturday, passed away peacefully in Romulus on Minton Street at his home. Richard was my friend since about 1968. We were close. We worked as partners with the Sheriff's Department back in the 1970s. And to give you some history of Richard, he served as a Romulus councilman from 1979 to 1981. He was one of the first back in 1968 of the Romulus Township Police Department. And then in 1970, when the Sheriff's Department contracted, he was absorbed into the Sheriff's Department, where he spent the next, I believe it was 23 or 24 years. He was a father, he was a husband, he was a grandfather, and he was the type of guy that if you walked by him, he would say, "How you doing? How are you?" This is, kind of personal to me because I knew him for about 53 years, and on top of everything else, Richard was a carpet layer. He used to lay carpet. And he's going to be very sadly missed, and this coming Thursday and Friday at St. John's Armenian Church on Ford Road in Dearborn is where the services are going to be held. And I talked to him about a week ago. He called me on the phone, and he said, Bill, you better get your speech ready at the council meeting. So, Richard, this is for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wadsworth. It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe for memorial resolution. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and motion is approved. If there's no other comments, that concludes the chairperson's report.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to accept your report.
Need a second?
Support.
A motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, to accept the chairperson's report. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We are at number 5, the mayor's report, and standing in for the mayor is Chief of Staff, Julie White-Toker.
Good evening, City Council, and thank you, Deputy Clerk, and also good evening, Ms. Page, City Treasurer. Just a couple items to provide to you tonight. Mayor McCray always likes to start off with a little bit of good news at the beginning of his report. So first, he wanted to send some happy birthday wishes to Linda, the cable lady. She's working tonight on her birthday. She's in a lower level right now, helping us make this meeting happen. So we want to wish her a happy birthday and thank her for being here and being dedicated to keep these meetings moving forward. And also, our Mayor Pro Tem has a birthday this week, so he wished to extend his birthday wishes to you as well. So happy
Thank you.
birthday.
Thank you.
No singing tonight, though. Also, we had some excitement today, I think, maybe just great news with our police department, and we did send a communication out later this afternoon to our elected officials. But effective today, I am pleased to inform you on behalf of the mayor that Captain Darren Shelby is now Deputy Chief Darren Shelby of the Police Department. And Jason Otter, who's been a detective for a long time here with our PD, has now been promoted to Sergeant. And Miss Monique Talley, she's a longtime employee of the city of Romulus in various departments, but a PD for several years, and she has now been assigned to the position of Assistant to the Chief of Police. So we're very excited on those promotions. Unfortunately, due to current world circumstances and health concerns, we couldn't do a real formal ceremony for them today, but we will be doing that in the future, and I promise you will all be included on that as well. So if you happen to hear from them, congratulate them, and we look forward to having a ceremony and celebrating with them soon. With that said, the mayor had 2 action items that I'll ask for your consideration on this evening. And the first one is item 5A, and this is for the road closures for the 2022 Craft and Vendor Show events and a request for no fee permit. So the request would be for no fee permits, to authorize a no fee permit for activities during the 2022 Craft and Vendor Shows hosted by Flowers in the Mitten, as well as the closure of Goddard Road between Romaine and Olive Streets, beginning at 7 p.m. and ending at 5 p.m. on the following Saturdays during 2022. Saturday, June 25th, August 13th, September 17th, which would be part of Pumpkin Festival, and October 22nd, 2022. And I apologize, before anyone would consider the motion, I should mention to you that all of the residents and property owners within the area of those requested closures have all signed an affidavit in support of this proposed event calendar for the year.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay, Mr. Wadsworth?
I'm going to move that we have a road closure permit for the 2022 Crafts and Vendor Show to be held on the dates that that Julie just said.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Williams, for road closure for the 2022 Craft and Vendor Show events for the no fee permit. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, Council. And the last item submitted this evening by the mayor for your consideration is a request Item number 5B, and that's request to grant authorization for the mayor and clerk to enter into a Second Amendment lease agreement with Big Steve's Designs for the lease of 35255 Goddard Road.
Make that motion to support, to sign the amended lease for Big Steve Designs.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Williams, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for a request to sign an amended lease with Big Steve's Design LLC. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, City Council. That will conclude the mayor's report this evening.
Thank you, Chief of Staff.
Thank you, Chief of Staff. We are now at number 6, the clerk's report. There are no action items for the clerk's report, but through the chair, if I may, I would like to bring up a member of the MLK Day Planning Committee, Tanya Cofield, who will discuss the MLK Day's community march and celebration.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I just wanted to remind everyone of the 2022 Romulus MLK Day celebration. It's going to be Monday, January 17th, 2022. We'll start at the middle school, gather there around 7:45, and the walk will begin at 8 o'clock. We do have a special route for that, so come on over and celebrate with us. Afterwards, when we return to the high school, we'll have coffee and donuts and a small ceremony in the auditorium. So all are welcome. We want everyone to come out and celebrate with us. Mask and social distances will be required, and we will be following all CDC guidelines.
Yes, Ms. Page.
I just wanted to ask, because I know people are wondering at home, will they have the option to do Zoom as well? Do we know?
I believe they're working on that currently.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
John,
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth.
is there going to be a pancake breakfast for the public this year or not?
No pancake breakfast.
fine.
We will have coffee and donuts,
Okay,
though.
thank you.
Okay. Any questions? All right, thank you, Ms. Cofield.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cofield, and that will conclude the clerk's report. We are now at number 7, the treasurer's report.
Good evening, council, chief of staff, deputy clerk, and the listening audience. I do not have anything under my report this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Treasurer. That brings us to number 8, public comment. This is the portion of the agenda for those in the audience who would like to address City Council. The rules to address City Council can be found on the back of the meeting agenda. If you would like to address City Council, please raise your hand, and after being acknowledged by the chairperson, approach the podium and state your name. Please note, members of the public who submitted a public comment card will be called upon first. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Any additional time will be upon the consent of the chairperson. As a reminder, members of the public viewing tonight's meeting via the city's broadcast channel or YouTube Live can submit their public comments to publiccomment@romulusgov.com before the end of the public comment portion. Mr. Chair, there was no public comment cards that has been submitted. Is there anyone from the audience who would like to address City Council?
None from the audience?
Seeing none.
Okay, we have, Chair, Ms.
Yes,
Williams.
through the chair, I just received a text from former State Rep Sherry Gay Dagnogo, and she just wanted me to let you know that she's about 3 minutes away because she wanted to speak on that lawsuit pertaining to the redistricting map.
Okay, we'll hold it for her.
Okay,
We'll hold it for her.
thank you.
If there's no other public comments, Deputy Clerk, we'll close that part out.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Number 9 is unfinished business.
John,
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth.
if I could, and I should have done this under your report, and I'll go to the chief of staff with this. You know, as these numbers are climbing and what's going on in the world, have we looked in going back to Zooming these meetings instead of, you know?
Mr. Wadsworth, I can tell you I was part of a meeting today that MML put on, and at this point, there's been no change in the legislation. Every community out there has the same concerns that we do. I think, they're going to be back in session, and I don't know if they'll take a look at this I know we're trying to do everything we can here at the city to try to, continue to keep operations moving and keep our employees safe, and also, provide the services that we need to. So, but in this instance, unfortunately, because of public formats right now, without the change as it stands today, there is no option for that. So I think the voices will be heard, though, as they get back into session again, because every community, again, as I was part of that meeting today, and that was, across the state. So I think you may hear something. I mean, we all hope that these numbers are gonna go on the decline now, but,
We all do.
right. But as it stands today, yes, it is a concern, so.
Okay, fine, thank you.
So, in other words, you can't go visual, right?
At this point, no, sir. There was no change. That order expired as of December 31st.
Oh,
So, at this point, any public format, any public forums, they have to be done in person.
okay. Thank you. Yeah, Ms. Williams?
I would just like to say I appreciate the mayor's chief of staff for making sure that even for the audience, that the distancing from each member of the audience have been applied. And I've had several residents to request that the council make a resolution for us to mandate. We can't do that. We have to follow federal, state, or county guidelines, and there has not been a mandate that we, the council, can take action and make anyone wear a mask. It would just, actually, my opinion would be common sense to be respectful and wear a mask when you're out in the public. Thank you.
If there's no more unfinished business, we are at number 10, new business.
John?
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth?
I should have done this under your report also, because I've got to go back home tonight, but tomorrow is my wife's birthday.
All right.
Jean, I believe she's 40 or 41, I'm not sure. She won't tell me her age, but
All right.
I love you and happy birthday, Jean.
Happy birthday, Gene. Thank you, Mr. Wadsworth.
Okay, thank you.
Number 11 is warrant for approval is warrant 22-1.
Mr. Chair,
Ms. Roscoe?
I'd like to make a motion to accept after I read the warrant for approval of warrant number 22-1 in the following amounts. General fund is $58,646.07. Major street fund, $661.94. Local street fund, $300.15. Public safety fund, $19,211.49. Merriman Road Special Assessment, $12,635. Michigan Indigent Defense Fund, $14,655. 911 Service Fund, $1,023.11. Narc Forfeiture State Fund is $33.29. Library Fund, $11,653.83. DDA, $637.58. Tifa District Number 2, $367.20. Water and Sewer Fund, $65,167.28. Motor Vehicle, $31,327.51. Technology Services, $15,029.98. Revolving Fund, $600. Current tax, $26,382.38. Payroll fund is $253.92. Total of all funds is $258,585.73. If I can get a motion.
Support.
Second.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, to pay warrant number 22-1 for $258,585.73. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes,
Chair votes yes, that motion is approved.
City Council. Number 12 is communications.
Ms. Williams?
Yes, I would like to share with the residents. First of all, I would start with, because of the frigid weather tomorrow, Forgotten Harvest have canceled every distribution center in Wayne County, so it's not just Romulus. Hopefully, we'll resume, if the weather permits, next Tuesday. I spoke with the mayor's chief of staff, and hopefully we can get that on the website to get that information out to the general public. Also, I have some information that I received from the mayor's office. Customer Assistant Day, it's a DTE. You have the Salvation Army, THAW, United Way, Wayne Metropolitan, and they have different programs out there. And I appreciate the mayor, chief of staff sharing this with us to get it out to the general public, to inform the residents. They have different help out there for the residents. This information will be on the city website, and I'm sure each one of us as council members will share it with our constituents and other residents that we're connected to. But there's a lot of good programs for help, you know, whether it be the electric or gas, or even other assistance that may be needed. So this information will be posted on the city website. And it's just something I would, I heard the information that the mayor's chief of staff shared about the new deputy police chief. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, in the last 8 years, we survived without a deputy chief. You know, my concern is more police officers on the road versus a police chief, police deputy chief. My greatest concern with our police officers is that the city move in a direction to where we spend any funds or any grant that we get pertaining to the police officers to move in the direction to get them into that old court, because I've been in the police department several times and it's not a good place to be. I mean, they have, the roof is leaking, and I know they're getting the roof fixed, but you're talking about black mold and asbestos. The building is old, and so I would suggest that our mayor maybe look into that, because that's something that when the residents passed that millage, the police and fire millage, it was to better the police and fire departments both. And we did a lot of things, the city did a lot of things pertaining to the firemen. Now we need to do some things pertaining to the police. And like I said, my opinion, I just don't think it was the right time, especially with the situation that's going on with financially with residents, or even with the businesses, that we needed to have a police chief, a deputy chief. Our city is just not big enough for that. In the last 8 years, we made it without it. I just don't agree. And one thing I want to know is, will this step that the mayor have taken, or the police chief have taken, will this include an increase in salary?
So it will require a change in the structure as far as his payroll. And, absolutely your statements are heard. As we try to always do when it comes down to discussing, particular employees, I'd rather have you sit down and talk with the chief directly. He can explain the structure. As you said, 8 years, but life has definitely changed. And so it was what the mayor believed to be a warranted change. And absolutely, the goal is to have more officers on the street. Council has approved 4 more officers recently. We're hiring more after that. And as you know, that they are looking into the change with that building. Everybody's fully aware of the condition of that building, and something needs to be done. So, he definitely hears your concerns, but as it relates to a particular employee, I can definitely have either our HR director or the chief reach out to you on that, okay?
Okay, and I would just like to make sure, because of the way the information came to the council, I was pretty shocked, because I started getting conversations from residents before we got the information. So if you can inform the police chief to make sure even before it actually get to the other officers that it hit social media first, make sure we know, so when we get calls, it's not like we're trying to play catch-up.
I absolutely agree, and unfortunately, again, because of COVID, things changed a little bit in the process, so we will have an appropriate ceremony for them. I guess, you know, they were all very excited today, so it got out on Facebook. He hit that button before I got to hit the send on the email, so thank you.
Thank you.
John?
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth.
And a little more about, you know, my concern is, number one, I think that Darren Shelby is very qualified for this job, but this did not take another police officer off the street, this move, is my concern.
Absolutely not.
Thank you.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to bring up Honorable Sherry. I always have a problem pronouncing your last name. The Honorable Sherry. You come right to the podium there.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you to this honorable body for allowing me to come and just give an update on the redistricting lawsuit that has been filed by a number of citizens, former elected officials, both in the House as well as this body. And so thank you for your unanimous resolution that was included and has been included in the lawsuit that was filed in the Michigan Supreme Court. It also impacts various communities around the state of Michigan, in addition to your body voting unanimously. Also, the Inkster City Council did as well, and we are confident that other lawsuits will be filed as well. I did bring a copy, although part of my reason for being just a little bit behind was talking to our attorney tonight, as an updated claim will be filed tonight to make sure that the resolutions which were voted on after the first submission is actually in the lawsuit and will be reflected after the complaint is updated tonight. So I just wanted to just briefly share some of the conversation, and I was talking to our current Detroit caucus chair, Rep. Tanisha Yancey, and attorney Nabi Ayed, and his team has been working around the clock since we announced this, and so just thank you so much. We all know that the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission has gone on record actually attesting to the fact that they use general election data. We know that we have lost 2 majority minority African-American congressional seats. That directly impacts the city of Romulus. We also have lost majority of African-American and or minority seats in our House and both our Senate. And so we know that the original rationale and reasoning for having communities of interest was so that citizens could vote their interests and not be broken into pieces and placed into other districts that would not give them a voice. And so the Voting Rights Act are certainly, these new maps are not in compliance with that. And so that is the basis of the lawsuit. And so we know that anytime that you have an election in the primary, when you're voting for your congressional, House, or Senate members, that especially if it's a Democratic majority, that the candidate is selected in those higher percentage districts during the primary election. And so to utilize the data from the general election, really at that point, those of us who are true blue Democrats, we're not going to vote in opposition, even if it wasn't our candidate of choice. We are pretty much moving forward and voting in support of the Democratic ticket. And so, and that's the basis of the argument that these maps has certainly taken away the minority vote. And so this complaint is going to be reflective tomorrow of those issues and the updated allegations that speak to the voting rights violation. It's also going to be it can be amended later if there are additional citizens from your various constituencies that may say, I want my voice to be heard. I want to make sure that I am reflected as a part of that. And so as I provide this to your Chief of Staff tonight, you will have the information as well as our President, and Vice Pro Tem have the information with the law firm that is conducting and facilitating this lawsuit to make sure that none of your constituents should be disenfranchised. Their voting power and block shouldn't be disenfranchised. And so we are hopeful at the state level that we will be able to find recourse with our Supreme Court. We realize that these lawsuits are taking place all across the country right now. And some of them have been successful, but you have to use the right tenor, principle, and the right court. We know that we have elections that are upcoming. Typically, our primary is in August. And if we are not on track to make sure that we have the judges allow for a stay of these current decisions that the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission have moved forward, there is a domino effect of what has to happen. We know that our clerks around the state are responsible for making sure that our ballots are printed. We know that any candidates running have to make sure that they have ample and adequate time to get signatures, have them certified, et cetera, so that they can run. And so we are asking the courts to move expeditiously as they review the matters that are outlined in this document, in the complaint, in the updated complaint, to make sure that it is not just about one individual city, but it's our entire state and the impact that it's had in Detroit, in Romulus, in Highland Park, in Inkster, and it's a collective. We know that other lawsuits will be filed from other sides, even of the aisle. And to be honest with you, I've had conversations and I've been reached out to many of my former colleagues and those who are on the other side of the aisle that expressed, while their interests may not be the direct same, they are in fact weighing in on the fact that this is disenfranchisement and we should do better than that, and I'm hopeful. I think the intent, though, overall of Voters Not Politicians was to try and give citizens a better voice, but when you think back to the complaints that were placed about the census, and nobody could have imagined that we would be in a global pandemic now for almost 2 years. And so the burdens and the challenges that presented, and even making sure that we had the adequate numbers, the time clock that was pushed back and given more time for the census. But at the end of the day, we know that there were some errors, and we have not really heard the outcome of that complaint in those errors. But to add insult to injury, to utilize the wrong data, being the general election, did not provide adequate guidance as the members of that commission endeavor to design these maps, to consider maps that were presented to them, and to move forward in voting on a map. And the last thing I'd say is I really have to applaud you all and thank you for your willingness to, number one, vote on a unanimous resolution, but number two, to keep the conversation going, because there are so many citizens that it's overwhelming how many people are reaching out saying, hey, I saw the article, I don't live in your area, but what happened? I think we could have done a better job on the front end with the work that the commission was doing to make sure that our citizens are informed, the leaders of the communities are informed, and then it gives you an opportunity to inform your citizens as well. So I just truly came to say thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your commitment to making sure that the voting power of our constituents is preserved, and we will continue to keep you updated and make sure that you all are aware as the decisions come forward from the respective courts. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry, for the information also.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to.
Any more communication? If not, I would like to say again, happy birthday, Linda Day. Happy birthday.
If there's no more communications from City Council, we are at number 13, adjournment, and the time is 8:06.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe for adjournment. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we are adjourned. Thank you.